musicals, and he composed music himself. His letters made me tremble with envy.
Upstairs, we have a violinist. Downstairs, another one. In the next room, a singing master who gives lessons. And in the other room, opposite ours, an oboist. This is good fun when you are composing. It gives you plenty of ideas.
Papa somehow heard of my disappointment.
My dear wife, Chaplain Troger told me that you and Nannerl would have liked to come with us. The expense of the outward and return journeys alone would have meant a difference of at least 60 ducats.
Really? Do you think Papa did not know that I wanted to experience the musical life of Italy? That I wanted to meet composers, hear new music, and write more of my own? At long last, Wolfgang and Papa came home to Salzburg. It was a wonderful time. Wolfie wrote me the most delightful piano duet. We sat together, bodies touching, our hands entwined. We moved to a new house with money from the tour, 8 rooms, a lovely garden, and ballrooms for rehearsals and concerts. Wolfie wrote more music for us to play together. He even wrote music especially for my birthday. But in September, Wolfgang took off for another musical tour, this time with my beloved Mama. I was heartbroken.
Nannerl wept bitterly, and I had to use every effort to console her. She complained of a headache and a sick stomach, and in the end, she retched and vomited. And putting a cloth round her head, she went off to bed and had the shutters closed. Our poor little dog lay down beside her.
I knew the future of our family lay in Wolfgang becoming a Kapellmeister. It was the only way that Papa could retire and we could all be together. But my days dragged by, shopping at the market, overseeing the cook, gathering herbs to make medicine, mending clothes. I gave piano lessons to some promising students, but my favorite time of day was after the evening meal, when Papa and I played. Wolfgang did not have any luck securing a court position. Even though I was upset that Wolfgang was allowed to go on tour while I stayed home, I still felt bad for him. I felt even worse too because Papa was getting older and slowing down. I wasn't sure how our family could survive without the money we had expected Wolfie to provide. I knew I was good enough to make a living with my music, if someone would just let me try. I played whenever I could and worked hard at my music. Papa could sense this.
Your sister alone is now my support, and I try to banish the cares which seem to overwhelm me by playing through on the violin from 6 to 8 every evening. Arias, symphonies, masses, vespers, and so forth. To my amazement, your sister has made such progress that she plays off at sight everything I bring back from the cathedral, however difficult. She has acquired such perfect insight into harmony and modulations that not only can she move from one key to another, but she extemporizes so successfully that you would be astounded.
He told Mama that I could accompany like a first-rate Kapellmeister, but I was not allowed to be a Kapellmeister. Then I heard horrible news. My Mama died on tour in Paris. I couldn't believe I would never see her again. Mama and I were so close. We even shared the same name, and so the same name day. It's kind of like a birthday. Our name day was one of the saddest days in my life. The tour was a failure. Wolfie never secured a court position. After a couple of years of struggling to make a place for himself in Salzburg, Wolfgang left for Vienna. He mailed us new compositions.
I am sending you the last rondo which I composed for my concerto in D major, and which is making such a furor in Vienna. But I beg you to guard it like a jewel. I composed it specially for myself, and no one else but my dear sister must play it.
Months, then moved to Vienna permanently. He was the talk of the town there, composing furiously, giving lessons, giving parties. In Salzburg, I met the most delightful man, Franz Armand Diepold. Wolfgang and I wrote to each other and came up with a wonderful plan. I would marry the man I love. We would move to Vienna with Papa. Wolfie would help Franz secure a job, and we would all be together. I would perform again. Wolfie said that I'd be in great demand. It would be so wonderful. Wolfgang was all for the match, but Papa was opposed. It would never be. A year and a half later, I married Johann Baptist Franz von Berthold zu Sonnenberg. He was a widower twice over and already had 5 children, but he was a minor aristocrat, a stable match. I moved to St. Gilgen, a tiny town 6 hours carriage ride from Salzburg. Papa gave me a forte piano as a wedding present. It was my most precious possession, and I vowed to play 3 or 4 hours every day. I would never abandon my music. But then the winter came. The cold and damp warped the wood of my piano. Keys stuck, and the strings went horribly out of tune. Send out the court tuner. January.
Do not hold out any hopes. The tuner cannot go out.
February.
I am shocked that your piano is in such bad condition. Unfortunately, nothing can be done.
March.
The tuner will not travel soon. He really has so much work. But also, such cold, windy weather comes, so as it is not much fun to spend 6 hours being thrown about in an open carriage. Thus, I cannot name a time.
It took more than 2 years to fix my instrument, but still I played. When my children were born, concertos celebrated with me. When Papa died, mournful masses cried with me. When I longed for my life in Salzburg, sonatas raised me from the tiny village to the very heavens. I got one last letter from Wolfie before he died so young. Dearest sister, indeed, you have every reason to be vexed with me. But will you really be so when you receive this by mail coach, my very last compositions for the clavichord? Surely not. This, I hope, will make everything all right. With my whole heart and soul, I wish you all that you believe is advantageous to yourself. Adieu, dear sister. As soon as I can collect some new music again, I shall send it to you. I am ever your sincere brother, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. My brother died December 5th, 1791, at the age of 35. With him, I lost a beloved friend, my confidant, my musical soulmate. After my husband died, I couldn't wait to get back to Salzburg. My son Leopold, who was 16, and my daughter Jeanette, 12, and I moved into an apartment just around the corner from our old house. I began giving lessons again and even gave private concerts. I wanted to help preserve my brother's name and his work, so I visited many homes in Salzburg and collected music that he wrote and sent the scores on to publishers. I shared stories and family letters with his biographers. It gave me great pleasure reliving our time together, playing concerts in the courts of Europe. And I continued playing piano, hours every day, for years and years and years. In my 70s, I lost my eyesight and the use of my left hand, but still I played for the sheer love of music. While bedridden at the end of my life, I asked to be carried from my bed to the piano, where Wolfie and I played together as children. I died 2 days later, on October 29th, 1829, at the age of 78. Found on the piano were scores from my brother's opera, Don Giovanni and the Magic Flute, the last music I ever played. Once upon a time, there was a musical genius named Maria Anna Motzart. Thank you for listening to my story. David for the piano playing. And I know Katie, my dressmaker, made it here. I have a neighbor who sewed me this dress and sewed little Maria Anna Mozart's dress as well. That's Katie Banovic. Clap even though she's Mitch and Brenda from Sherman Clay Pianos, who had no idea what I had in mind and took a chance on me. Bartholomew, who found Sherman Clay Pianos, who did outreach for it, and who's just been enormously helpful to me in my writing. My sister, Danny Swope, who took pictures of me in my gown so I could put them on my website. My daughter, Isabel Anna Rusch, who did program distribution this evening. Son Kobe Rusch, who did videography, so I can hopefully put this on my website. William Nish, who is my friend Kate's brother, who helped me edit the script. He lives in Hollywood. I need Hollywood help. And Kate O'Malley, who made my beautiful jewelry, and who also promised if I freaked out that she would put the fire alarm on and save me. Craig. Oh yeah, Craig's on there too. Craig, I couldn't be here without his love and support and technological assistance. So I will be available. Oh, I guess I can answer questions. What are we going to do? Oh, I have more events coming up related to this book, family-friendly and free events. On April 2nd, there are going to be about 15 authors at the Milton Arts Center. It's called Flat Flap, where we just kind of take a few minutes to talk about our books. On April 9th, at a Children's Place bookstore, I and another author, Roseanne Perry, who has a new book out called Second Fiddle, are doing an event where we read, but also the Metropolitan Youth Symphony is going to be playing And the young people are going to be talking about their instruments and how they got involved in music. And we're going to try to do an interactive thing playing kazoos to Twinkle Twinkle. So it should be fun.